Okay, I just wanted to give you a brief overview again of polymers. For the straight IB course, it's not that pervasive, but if we want to take the materials option, we'll have to know a lot more, and so you'll notice that this section of the notes is quite detailed, but you don't have to know that. So I'm just going to go through what it is that you would need to know just for the regular polymers section. So I've given you just a listing of things where polymers are used. There's lots of natural ones. They can be divided into natural and synthetic. But the IB is going to concentrate mainly on the synthetic polymers. Natural polymers are really great, but they're not easily molded and they're not easily synthesized. And so chemists have come up with lots of ways of synthesizing different synthetic polymers. And so then you have to know of the two different types. So flipping back, that was page 303. If we look, here's just something else I'll put in now. If we look at petroleum, like a lot of our polymers come out of oil wells, you'll notice that most of the petroleum that a barrel of oil provides goes into fuel. Some into petrochemicals, and we divide that up into solvents for carrying out things. They're cleaning and whatever, other organic compounds, and less than 5% go into monomers. Okay, so I know that there's lots of bad press about plastics and that kind of thing, but it really is a very small amount of what goes into an oil well. We would probably do better to cut down on our fuels. Anyway, of the monomers, we can either make plastics or fibers from polymers. Okay. There's a couple definitions of plastics. Again, I don't think that you're necessarily going to get quizzed on that, but we might have to if we decide that we want to do the materials unit, because it's quite a long section. This page 305, not really important yet unless we want to do the materials section. How big are they? Well, here is something that is fairly interesting. We might want to just look at the middle of page 305. And what they tend to do is talk in terms of repeating units. Okay, so a repeating unit will tell you what went into a polymer. I could look at this polymer and say, yeah, it's probably an addition polymer, and I could figure out what the monomer was that went into it. And this is styrene, and the styrene molecule looks a little bit like this. It's got your benzene ring. And then you've got two hydrogens on here. So this was the monomer that went into this, and we talk in terms of repeating unit. And then N can be as many as you want. Obviously, the longer the polymer, the higher the boiling point, and the higher the melting point, and that kind of thing. So again, you can read through that. There's all kinds of different ways that we can manipulate polymers to change their properties, and I think it would be a fairly interesting job to be a polymer chemist or a polymer engineer. Flipping the page again, how do polymers grow? Well, we're going to talk mainly about the addition polymerization, which seems to be the focus. Sorry, that was off the camera. We're going to talk mainly about addition polymerization. However, I think that they might also ask a little bit about condensation. And we've talked about both of these in class, so this is really just a review. I don't want to spend too much time. So addition polymers are ones where you're going to open up a double bond and link it to the molecule next to it. So it's just like a link. These are all different possible monomers that are going in there. This is ethene. I think we talked about polyethylene or polyethylene. If you have 3 carbons, that's propene, and you get polypropylene. That's that yellow rope that you can buy in hardware stores and stuff like that. And this is a vinyl group where there's something else attached to it. So we get polyvinyl something or other. Okay. I think this is wrong here. I think that should just read that should be a single bond. Double bonds made up of A, and you should know that this is going to be a sigma bond and a pi bond. Each containing electrons. The pi electrons are reactive. We've talked all about that. You should know those reactions. The 2 carbons change to form the 2 carbon atoms change form, and then hybridization to Oh, I guess I guess what I was saying there, they're going to go from SP2 to SP3 in the product. Anyway, again, you can read through that, and then this is the mechanism that you go through. I don't think you need to know that for the basic IB exam, and we might need to know that if we have to go beyond that. Basically, what you want to be able to do is to figure out what are the units that go into it. So there's your polyethylene, and there's low density, high density. We'll talk about. Whoops, sorry. Again, I messed up. There's your polyethylene in here. Okay. Polypropylene, again, that yellow rope. PVC, I think you've probably heard about PVC, very rigid material and stuff like that. There's your Teflon, okay, that you use for fry pans and stuff like that. So you should be able to go from this to figure out exactly what went into each one. That's, I think, what you're going to have to sort of figure out, or you're going to have to either go from this to here or here to back, and that'll be the nature of the question that you might get. Okay, so again, 308, we continue on. And then we talked a little bit about condensation, and we just did this the other day. Here, carboxylic alcohol will form. You should know by now that that's going to be an ester. Okay, and I think we did this on the board the other day, something similar to this anyway, maybe in a slightly different format. So you had your carboxylic acid groups here, you've got your hydroxyl groups here, so you're going to form polyester. Okay, so here you're going to fill in carboxylic acid, and you could say alcohol, and we formed an ester. So this would be polyester. Okay, so I don't think there's too much new there. To what general class of polymer might you put it? Well, I just answered that on the previous page. The IB was often stuck on nylon. We talked a little bit about nylon the other day as well, and I think I put that one up on the board as well, so that's earlier in your notes. I mentioned Wallace-Hume Crothers. So what I'd like you to do is just to carry through with these questions on page 310 and page 311. See if you can break those things down. You don't want to try to do this on the exam. It might look easy, but I find that students kind of get messed up on these things, so try each of those things, and then I've included a few answers there for you, and that's all you need to do. Okay, thanks very much.